Good morning. It's Wednesday and time for our devotion together. Today we'll look at 1 Peter chapter 2 verses 11 through 25. We find ourselves in a little series on 1 Peter, just kind of working through the letter, trying to see what we can learn about the foundations of our identity, and then what that means and how that moves into holiness. That's kind of the theme of 1 Peter. And so I have a good old for me song. The song I'm going to sing today is one of the songs that was commonly sung in the group that led me to Jesus way back in 1980-81. Okay, 1 Peter 2:11 through 25. If this is your first devotion in a bit or haven't been around for sermons, it's going to feel like you're in the middle of a conversation, and you are. Dear friends, since you are immigrants and strangers in the world, I urge you that you avoid worldly desires that wage war against your lives. Live honorably among the unbelievers. Today they defame you as if you were doing evil. But in the day when God visits to judge, they will glorify him because they have observed your honorable deeds. For the sake of the Lord, submit to every human institution. Do this whether it means submitting to the emperor as supreme ruler, or to governors as those sent by the emperor. They are sent to punish those doing evil and to praise those doing good. Submit to them because it's God's will that by doing good you will silence the ignorant talk of foolish people. Do this as God's slaves, and yet also as free people, not using your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Honor everyone. Wow, that's a good phrase. Not using your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Honor everyone. Love the family of believers. Have respectful fear of God. Honor the emperor. Household slaves, and now it gets even harder for us to wait, what? Household slaves, remember we're hearing this from a culture entirely different from ours, both in hundreds and hundreds of years gone by, 2,000 years, but also understanding of things, right? Household slaves, submit by accepting the authority of your masters with all respect. Do this not only to good and kind masters, but also to those who are harsh. Now it is commendable if, because of one's understanding of God, someone should endure pain through suffering unjustly, but what praise comes from enduring patiently when you have sinned and are beaten for it? But if you endure steadfastly when you've done good and suffer for it, this is commendable before God. You are called to this kind of endurance, because Christ suffered on your behalf. He left you an example so that you might follow in his footsteps. He committed no sin, nor did he ever speak in ways meant to deceive. When he was insulted, he did not reply with insults. When he suffered, he did not threaten revenge. Instead, he entrusted himself to the one who judges justly. He carried in his own body on the cross the sins we committed. He did this so that we might live in righteousness, having nothing to do with sin. By his wounds you were healed. Though you were like straying sheep, you have now returned to the shepherd and guardian of your lives. In my life, Lord, be glorified, be glorified. In my life, Lord, be glorified today. In our song, Lord, be glorified, be glorified. In our song, Lord, be glorified today. In your church, Lord, be glorified, be glorified. In your church, Lord, be glorified today. In your world, Lord, be glorified, be glorified. In your world, glorified today.